Second Sighting came out in 1988. Now, in my opinion, it's a great album, but it's got a few, shall we say, problems in terms of it being an actual Ace Frehley album. I mean, this album could have just as easily have been Todd Howard's Second Sighting, because it feels like Ace doesn't have a lot to do with this particular album. Jamie Oldacker from the Eric Clapton band was now the drummer. Anton Fig was a busy guy, so he was no longer in the picture. John Regan and Todd Howard were the constant guys in Frehley's Comet. Ace, well, he was around. There was a lot of disappointment from Ace Frehley fans with this album. Some of them even got a little bit nasty, a little bit mean. Ace, having his problems, was absent a lot, and Megaforce needed to get this album out and released. So their backup plan was Todd Howard. Todd Howard with his amazing vocals and his talent on the guitar. It wasn't Todd's fault, but Todd had to fill in and pick up the slack where Ace was kind of asleep behind the wheel again. The album starts out with the song Insane, and it's a really strong start. It's a really great song. Ace on lead vocals, Todd Howard's backup vocals are very prominent here, and it's just a great song overall. Track number 2, Time Ain't Running Out, a song by Todd Howard and sung by Todd Howard. Great song. A little bit keyboard heavy here and there for the people that don't like keyboards. I like them, so off. The first taste of what this album is going to sound like. Now, Todd sang lead vocals on the previous album, which was cool. It was like one on, one off, Ace did one, Todd did one. It was an even sort of a mix there. With Second Sighting, well, Todd has to pick up a lot of the slack, like I said before, and it seems to be Todd's voice that's most prominent in the overall album. And that's not a problem at all. I like Todd's voice better. In fact, I'm probably a bigger Todd Howard fan than I am an Ace Frehley fan. Track 3, Dancing with Danger. A little bit bland. It's a cover song by the Canadian band Steelheart. Now, I've heard the demos that Ace had put out to this song. In fact, I've heard a lot of demos that Ace had put out to a lot of these songs on this album and his previous album. So the demos sometimes sound a little bit stronger, which is quite interesting. Ace's vocals through this album, they're a little bit whingy at times. They don't hold up as well as they did on the first album. Track 4, another Todd Howard song, It's Over Now. Probably one of the best songs on the album. A really great heartfelt sort of a song.
Put me on the spot, I couldn't remember that. Like, what button? I did 2 of those. That's why you hear the increments going up like that. I think Pat only plays the lower one.
Loser in a Fight. This song, it trades vocals with Ace and Todd. It's almost a tag match of a song. It's not bad, it seems a bit strange.
Loser in a Fight was a song I wrote for Ace and me to sing together. And I taught Ace the vocal part and the melody. That song didn't have as much feeling as I wanted it to have, quite frankly, because it sped up halfway through the damn track. And we never went back to correct it. For the life of me, I don't remember why either. But, started out pretty good, but it was supposed to be kind of a raunchy, raucous tune, and it never came out to be. So that was one tune I was thinking, I'd like to go back and do that again. I redid Dancing with Danger on a tribute thing, and I made it heavier like I wanted to do it. There's some secret things there I won't tell you about what Ace doesn't know, but I embellished that track in Frehley's Comet too, because it just didn't sound right. So I went back and redid some stuff. But it's when you write a song or playing a song, you got to believe it, or got to enjoy it, or got to want to do it. How many people here are really good guitar players, based on your own opinion? There you go. That's what it should be. I mean, it's if know what you're good at doing and feel confident in it. I'm a rhythm player. I'm a strong rhythm player. That's all I've ever been. I started playing piano first at 7 years old, and any instrument I could get my hands on. Then there was drums and all that. My parents loved that because I beat the fuck out of those things forever. And then I picked up bass. I was playing bass. I love bass because it's just such a great sound. And then I wanted to sing lead. And then I was a lead singer, and I got to sing lead. So that was a good thing. And until I got into my first big band, which is a band called Seven.
A few of the songs, and a few of the more Ace-based songs on this album seem a bit strange. Not to say that they're crap, it's just, to people listening from the outside, they're kind of wondering what they're listening to. Juvenile Delinquent, great song. It's got this certain mood about it, I can't put my finger on it. Fallen Angel, a very underrated song by Todd again. I think they even had filmed a video clip for this. But again, with Todd at the front and Ace in the back, it seemed a little bit strange that this was Ace Frehley's band and yet you had Todd Howard at the front kicking ass.
I use detuning for a lot of the heavier stuff and regular tuning. When we record the first, actually I think all the Comet records are in A440. And then for the live, we always tune a half step down because Ace wanted to do that, made it sound a little heavier. It was easier on his voice, which is good. You know, it was fine with me back then. My voice was I was younger, let's put it that way. You know? A little more resilient, but now we record everything in half step down because it sounds a little bit beefier, but. I'm just fucking around with this thing. But it has. I remember showing John that song, and I thought, "What do you think of this?" You know, the key for I don't know if you're lead players, rhythm players. I'll just go off what I know. All the leads that I play, like on It's Over Now, it's just here in the head. It's a melody. Everything's a melody to me and a feeling. I come from the school of heavy backbeat. Bad Company, Zeppelin, The Babies, Humble Pie. We're playing a Humble Pie song tonight. But every time, when John and I play together, that's why we hook so well together when we play, everything sits way in the back.
Separate. Again, not a bad song, not a standout for me. New Kind of Lover. Again, another Todd song. I remember Todd talking about this song. Something along the lines of like that scene in Ghostbusters where Dan Aykroyd's character kind of gets some action from a ghost. And the final track on the album, it's not an instrumental like the previous was. This is called The Acorn is Spinning. It's kind of a boxing story scenario. It doesn't really have much direction and it just ends up really flat. By the end of it, it's just kind of, what were we just listening to there? That's a bit of a shame. It's a good ending to the album, but it's a bit peculiar as well. So the band had also released quite a good live album together. It was a great live album. A bit short for an album. They also released a VHS video cassette, which I found by accident one day at my video shop. I was like, when did this come out? And it also included their video clips on it. Really good show. And it was at the time when everybody was pulling their weight in the band as well. Now, unfortunately, after Second Sighting, well, there was a lot of confusion as to which direction the band was taking. Sales didn't do as well. So at the end of the day, Todd Howard had copped the brunt, was out of the band. And that was more or less the end of Frehley's Comet. It wasn't until a few years later that Ace had come back again, 1989, Trouble Walkin'. And by that stage, I guess Todd was no longer welcome, and it was a different scene. Richie Scarlett was back. I guess that's how rock and roll goes. I think I recall Todd saying, one day they were opening for Iron Maiden, the next day he was literally loading trucks in a forklift. And he says that he's a blue-collar guy, and that's the way he likes it. He likes his music, likes his cars. Great singer, great songwriter, and a pleasure to meet as well. Actually, when I did get a chance to meet the guy, as you can probably see from some of the footage, he was just a real laid-back, real cool guy. He had time for everybody. It's just a shame that when I got a photograph with the guy, that photo was corrupted on my camera and I never got to see it. Shit happens, what can I tell you? So, definitely check out Frehley's Comet. Anything by Frehley's Comet. Because the band as a whole was great. It's funny because over the years, I've probably become more of a fan of Todd Howard's work than Ace's work. And so at the end of the day, if I have to choose between both albums, I'd probably choose Second Sighting. That's not to say that one is better than the other. They're both great albums. I just think for the more die-hard Ace Frehley fans, they'll like the first album better. So that's my piece for today.
These are my Steinbergers. I'm sure you guys are familiar with them. They're old style. I have 10 of them now. And these colors, they only came in the red, the black, the flat black, and the white back when they first came out, well, when I first started playing them, late 80s. Ace had a black one, the same type as a GM4 1TA, Trans Trem.